Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm really grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And in this one, I want to speak to you a little bit about an INFJ's idealism, our idealistic nature. It is an essential part of our personality. I think that's one of the reasons why we have such a hard time living in this world, in the real world. And that's why we spend so much time in the imaginary world, is because it's so easy to have our idealistic world in our imagination. Everything's perfect, everything's working the way it's supposed to, everyone loves each other, everyone's taking care of each other, there are no wars, everything's peaceful, blah, blah. The utopia that everyone dreams of. And so we spend our time in our imaginations, because when we go outside in the real world and we look around, we see, oh yeah, this is imperfect in more than one way, in many, many ways. And in ways that it feels a little bit out of control. We feel powerless against these non-idealistic situations. There's nothing we can do about it. The environment is dying and there's nothing we can do about it. We can do our little bit, but that is not enough. People are dying of hunger in the world, and we can do our little bit. We give a little bit of food or we do our thing, but we can't change the entire world. It's very difficult for one person to change the world. Even I find billionaires, even when they're giving billions of dollars away, they're still not able to make such a huge difference, because there's just so much that needs to be done, right? There's a lot of things happening in the world that need help. And so, we kind of retract back into our idealistic world. We retract back into our imagination. We come back and we're like, maybe I should just spend time in my head. The thing with an INFJ, what we need to realize, and what we realize as we get older, this is actually a realization that comes to a lot of older INFJs. Unfortunately, not fast enough. I feel like if it came faster, if we were younger and had this realization, we'd be able to do a lot more. This is the reason why at this point in time, when I'm 40, I'm able to achieve what I want to achieve by putting my mind to it. Whereas when I tried to do that when I was in my 20s, it was impossible. I tried so many times to get to my goals, to achieve what I wanted to get to. It was in my head, this is what I want to get to, but I didn't do anything towards it. I didn't actually make it happen. And so I wanted to give you a few tips if you're a young INFJ or an INFJ in general who's struggling with bringing to fruition your idealistic world in as much as it's possible. Obviously, my world still is not completely ideal. It is very close to ideal, but there's also obviously lots of things going on that I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. But as much as possible, I'm getting to that goal that I've set for myself, right? I have a vision of what I want my life to look like, and I'm making it happen. Unfortunately, as I said, when I was younger, I had the vision. I was looking at it in my head. I'm like, this is what I want, but why can't I make it happen? And so one of the main things that you need to realize as an INFJ is you need to keep your eyes on the prize. That is, you need to have a vision. You need to have a very clear vision in your head. And that vision has to stay steady over a long period of time. So basically what happens with INFJs, or with people in general, I think, I shouldn't just even say INFJs, people in general, we have an idea in our head. We're like, I would love to be better at dancing. That's actually one of my goals right now. So we have this goal, I would love to be better at dancing. I love dancing. I love amateur dancing. I dance a lot on my own, randomly, moving and shaking my booty. I hope that's allowed, that word. Anyway, so I'm doing my thing, but I would love to be a little bit more professional in my dancing. I look at all these videos and I'm like, I'd love to emulate some of it. Not perfectly, of course. That's not my goal, but I want people to try. And so I had this goal in my head, right? And so a lot of people, they'll have this goal in their head. I want to be better at dancing. It's a very vague kind of goal. What does better at dancing mean, really? What is better? What is better? Like, you're able to move a little bit better, or like you are able to have more footwork? Like, what is it exactly that you want to achieve? So, of course, you need to be more specific. So for me, I decided my goal would be, I use the Stitchy app, Steezy, Stitchy app. It's a dancing app. And so my goal I've put down is that I want to emulate one of those dancing lessons perfectly by the end of the summer. So just one. I'm going to try and try and try. And then by the end of the summer, this summer, in 2 months, I want to be able to do one video at least as perfectly as possible for me from beginning to end. Because what happens to me is that I can follow the steps if it's very slow. As soon as they go to tempo, I'm just like, I don't know, where am I moving my arms? So that's my goal. So I put it down very clearly. By the end of the summer, I want to achieve this. It's a very clear goal. And so it's the vision in my head is very clear as well, because the goal itself is very clear, right? And what does that mean? What do I have to do to get there? Not dream about it, but to do dance practice at least twice a week, if not more, obviously. So that's the goal, and that's the steps, and that's how I'm going to get there. Very clear. The vision is very clear. Now, the only thing that's left is, am I going to be lazy about it, or am I going to actually do it, right? That's something that you have to control yourself, your motivation levels, things like that. If you really care about it, you'll probably do it. And so, again, this is the idea. Keep your eyes on the prize. What is the prize, right? A lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to achieve something in my life. What do you want to achieve exactly? Are you being extremely vague about it? In a lot of cases, INFJs, because we are idealistic, because we spend a lot of times in our head, because we have a very vivid imagination, we can literally change our vision from day to day and have no idea where we're going to. So one day we're thinking to ourselves, oh, I'd love to be a great dancer. And the next day we're like, oh, I'd love to be a great hip hop dancer. And the next day we're like, oh, I'd love to be doing this kind of dancing, step dancing or tap dancing. And so our goal constantly keeps on changing or transmuting, because our imagination is so powerful. And then because our vision is constantly changing, we don't know what the price is. What are we trying to achieve? And 10 years pass by, 20 years pass by, and we haven't even done anything. And that's where I was. I was literally in that position where I had visions in my head. They would constantly be changing. I would not keep my eyes on the prize. My price would keep on changing, like it kept on moving, the goal. And I never achieved anything. And I'd just be like, I'd be so frustrated with myself, because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm smart, I'm agile, I'm intelligent, I am energetic, I have the ability to achieve things. Why am I not doing anything? Why am I stuck in limbo? Why do I feel like I've been in this spot, running in the same spot over and over again for the last 20 years? And this was my entire 20s and 30s. It was just literally that. I just felt stuck. Eventually, hopefully, I did the things that I wanted to do, and I've kind of been able to move forward. But for the longest time, I felt really, really stuck. And it was, again, just because of this, because of the idea that I had in my head that was very idealistic. I wanted to achieve it to the paramount possible level. I wanted to get to the ideal level, and if I didn't get the ideal level, then nothing at all, right? And that's, again, the all or nothing thinking that an INFJ does. I've done videos on it. It's very, very powerful, because it is, it is motivational, but also it can subdue us. Because if we don't get to the all, we're like, I don't want anything at all, right? But what about the middle ground? Why do we forget that there's a middle ground? So for me, with this dancing thing, if you want to give an example, so if I don't completely achieve this goal at the end of the summer, even so, if I do the dancing, app thing for like half an hour, twice a week, even then I will have improved, and I will have created neuronal connections in my head. I would have become a little bit of a better dancer in general anyways, even if I'm not able to achieve that major prize. But of course, that's why we need to set up all of these visions. We need to set up all these steps to get to our prize, whatever that might be. Now, what you need to do is to realize first that there is a prize. So a lot of people don't even know what they want to achieve, right? And they might have an idea of it. Maybe they're like, maybe this is something do I want this? Well, mainly what I do for myself, how I figure out what I want, is I look at the things I'm jealous of. And I've done a video on this in the past, I think, but I really wanted to reiterate it. Look at the things you're jealous of. What are you jealous of? Who are you jealous of? Who are the people you're jealous of? Are they the people who are roaming around the world and digital nomads and no location independent? Because that's what I was jealous of for the longest time. I was extremely jealous, envious of people who were location independent, who did not have to be in the office 9 to 5 and who could just be anywhere they wanted it. They were still making money and they were doing their thing. They were moving around. They were meeting people. That's what I wanted. I was so envious of them. And so that's what I tried to achieve, and that's where I am right now, right? And so who are you envious of? Figure that out. Once you know that, you'll know what you want. Once you know what you want, then you can start creating a vision around it. You can start creating goals towards it, steps towards it, and start building towards it. But again, you got to keep your eyes on the prize. You have to keep that prize steady. You can't be like, I want to be a digital nomad one moment, and next moment be like, I would love to work in a 9 to 5 job and earn loads of money and go up the ladder. That doesn't work, right? Because a lot of times we're going back and forth between opposing goals. So we need to really decide, what do I want? And then work towards it. Really decide on your goal. Decide on what you want your prize to be so you can keep your eyes on the prize, right? If you don't know what the prize is, then your eyes are always wandering about and you're moving around trying to do this thing or that thing. You're never getting anywhere and you're still stuck in limbo. And 10 years pass by and you're like, shoot, I haven't achieved anything at all that I wanted. What am I doing in my life? Again, I was exactly in this spot for the longest time. That's why I know. And so again, please let me know if you have any questions about this. I know it's a very abstract topic and it's also something that probably a lot of you are struggling with, because I know I still struggle with it myself. And so if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any stories to share, please do share them. I'd love to hear from you. And again, thank you so much for listening, for being on my channel. I really appreciate all your support. And I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.